Todos. There's something I wanted to talk to you guys about this morning, and it's because it's come to my attention recently. I've processed some of the things that have been going on with myself and my students lately and over the last couple years, and it has to do with. Um, okay, well, I'll tell you guys the story. So every now and then, a student will say to me, "Danny, I'm having a rough time. I'm going to skip out on my Spanish class." And sometimes it's what you need, especially, for example, if you're sick, you need to sleep in, you need to get some rest. Cool. But I've had students with more serious things that are going on in their lives, and I've come to a realization about it. I've had a student who her pet passed away, another student who, um, you find out that your ex partner has moved on with somebody else, or someone that's worried about a loved one. And I've realized through my own experiences something very important. When I started teaching Spanish, actually, not when I started teaching, probably in my second year of teaching Spanish, after about a year, I went through a time in my life where I was quite down. I had different things that were going on in my life, different changes and adjustments, and there was a good 9 month period where I really didn't feel like myself, and I was very, very sad. And often it felt hard for me to teach my classes because part of my personality is kind of this joyous, cheerful thing, and Spanish is something that brings a lot of joy into my life. Um, and so I felt like, and also like, when you teach students, you're taking care of their emotional needs when they're doing the very vulnerable thing of learning. And I kind of felt like, I have my own emotional needs at this point. How am I supposed to take care of other students' needs? Um, and I realized that during that period, teaching was very therapeutic for me. First of all, there were moments where I felt joy, but it was almost like a bit of a distraction from the things that I was going on, that the things that were going on with me, and it was also, instead of focusing on myself, I focused on somebody else, and seeing them enjoy learning and enjoy Spanish, and make advances in their learning Spanish, was so rewarding for me, and even just seeing them be courageous and trying hard with something new was so inspirational for me that often teaching was what made me feel these intense moments of joy when in general in my life I wasn't feeling it. And through then seeing some of my students go through some difficult things in their lives, I realized that it's actually a really wonderful thing if you can maintain your classes throughout that down, difficult period in your life. And why? Because the classes are not just about the classes in themselves. We learn Spanish because we love Spanish and we're excited about Hispanic cultures and all those things, and we want to participate, we want to travel. But we're also like, just the act of learning something is very vulnerable because you have to you have to confront things that you're not necessarily so naturally good at or that take time to get good at. And it's also a process that can give you a lot of confidence because if you stick with it and you're consistent, you actually overcome all these barriers within yourself. And even just the distraction, you know what? Yes, something difficult might be going on in your life, but that doesn't define your entire life, even though it's a very strong emotional thing that's going on. And so I find that when students, I've in a couple of situations actually encouraged students, you know what, I know you're having a rough time right now, but I actually think that taking class might actually make you feel better. And in those situations, students have said to me, you know what, thank you so much for encouraging me. And it's like, we don't have to do the full hour. Let's do 5 minutes and see how that goes. Let's do 10 minutes and see how you feel. And if you're really having a rough time, we'll call it a day there. And actually in almost all the cases the student continues for the rest of the class because they get their mind off what's going on in their life. They start doing something challenging that kind of speaks to a certain part of themselves. They connect with that part of themselves, and that makes them feel a little bit better and shows them that their entire life is not this difficult thing that's going on, that there's other pieces of their life that can still give them joy through the hard moment. And it sounds almost counterintuitive, but it's something that I found through personal experience and through working with students as well. So I wanted to share that with you guys today, and I hope that you guys find that interesting. And if there's any, I would love to hear in the comments below if there's a rough time in your life where taking a dance class, a yoga class, a Spanish class, or even just taking care of somebody else when you're having a rough time has helped you get over some of your own emotional difficulties. Anyways, los quiero a todos y besos, que tengan un lindo día. Chao.